Holy shit.
Something bad happened in this particular area.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt it.
The sadistic doctor used to actually store brains in jars in these cabinets.
This is me in one of the most horrific insane asylums that failed America. State-sponsored insane asylums closed in the 80s and left many to be released to the streets without treatment and without home.
This is a mental health catastrophe.
And so should we bring these asylums back?
I honestly wished that I had been inpatient before. I've definitely needed inpatient, but couldn't afford it.
To find out, I talked to 3 schizophrenic patients that are also experts in the field, and I also explored Letchworth Village, one of the world's worst asylums, to uncover traces of the patients' realities and to learn what impact have these insane asylums had not only on homelessness, but crime.
People in a state of acute psychosis are unpredictable.
I actually took a military pickup truck and went on a high-speed chase with the police.
And I'm not afraid to admit it, but there was no way in hell that I was gonna do this by myself. And so I met up with Angelo, a fellow YouTuber who's explored hundreds of these abandoned asylums to show me around.
Usually the minority dies first in a goddamn horror movie, so I think you might be fine, but I might be fucked here. Holy.
Someone clearly played the Ouija board down here.
Oh, hell no, hell no, hell no. My heart's pumping right now.
This room right here, this was known as the brain room. Supposedly, the sadistic doctor used to actually store brains in jars in these exact cabinets. Kind of messed up.
Kind of.
Yeah. The part that kind of like saddens me about this place is the fact that there was a lot of children in here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And we're talking like newborns, infants.
Newborns,
infants, yeah. And they would have lived here their entire life. They never would have known anything outside of these walls. Anybody out there?
Stop.
Anybody want to come?
Bro, stop.
Anybody want to come talk to us?
Stop, chill out. It literally almost just feel like it's like been set up for like a movie.
Yeah, so I remember.
Oh my God, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we were in there and the door slammed shut, couldn't get it open.
Couldn't get it open?
Yeah, it literally closed on its own, couldn't get it open. Yeah. This is I don't recall that ever being like that. So they would have actually done experiments here. Back in the day, what they used to think was that somebody would have a mental disability and obviously it was a part of their brain. So what they would have done was literally drill into your brain, oftentimes trying to remove a part of the brain. If you were a homosexual, gay, whatever, they thought that it was actively a part of your brain that made you gay, so let's just drill that part out.
Jesus.
Now, when you do that, you can injure somebody, and that happened very, very often.
Did it actually ever lead to any like breakthroughs or in terms of like research?
In terms of research, I think only the polio vaccine was like successful here.
And it's all true. Dr. George Jervis, the chief researcher in the 50s, even participated in a trial of the polio vaccine where 20 children, some as young as 8, received live vaccines. And even though children reportedly survived and these trials helped roll out a successful polio cure worldwide, there was a growing negative perception of Letchworth. And as I'll reveal later, it's part of the reason why it took up until 1996 for Letchworth to even close down. But before we get into that, since I can't speak with the patients of the past, I want to connect with those who may have been admitted in the past to see, should we bring these asylums back?
I am the president of a foundation called CURES, which stands for Comprehensive Understanding via Research and Education into Schizophrenia.
Can you tell me about your experience when you were homeless?
My 4th year of college, I had my first psychotic episode, which led me to break off all ties with family, friends, professors I knew. The homelessness lasted 4 years to the day.
Well, I grew up seeing like monsters and faces in trees and things, and then I was diagnosed at that time with paranoid schizophrenia.
I was hallucinating, hearing voices and seeing spirits. I actually took a military pickup truck and went on a high-speed chase with the police. I was arrested. The jail transferred me from their facility to the state hospital, and it was very uncomfortable.
Why is there such a disproportionately high rate of incarceration of the mentally ill?
People have these acute psychotic episodes. People in a state of acute psychosis are unpredictable. They have trouble following directions. If mom and dad call the police and the police says get down on your knees, they may think that, the cop is an alien and they can't do what he says.
How did you receive treatment?
I am in the US, and that actually costs a lot of money. I honestly wished that I had been inpatient before. I definitely needed inpatient, but couldn't afford it. If you don't have a strong support system like I do, homelessness is very much probably what's going to happen. If you're in a psychotic episode and, you don't even know how to feed yourself, what good is money going to do?
So when not everybody in a similar situation has a support system like Rachel, is there a link between the closure of these asylums and the rise in homelessness? And just like Ashley and Bethany, when left untreated and nowhere to go, is it inevitable that people in similar situations will end up in prison? So with all that considered going into this, I was of the opinion that we should bring asylums back, and that both prisons and asylums should be among the few things that the government should be managing over private companies. But at the same time, when there have been countless stories from abuse to weaponizing asylums to lock up insane political rivals like they did in Brazil and the Soviet Union, it's clearly complex. And so I'll reveal by the end of the investigation if I've changed my mind, but hopefully I wasn't gonna lose myself along the way.
Not you?
My God, no, that fucking door just
the
closed.
door slammed?
Oh my God. So I didn't capture it, but
No.
that door just slammed shut as we went in here.
That's a heavy ass door.
That's a heavy ass door. I don't know. Oh my God.
Okay.
It says hell. Oh, there's still water.
Yeah.
It's bad, right?
I mean, you can jump in it if you want. I know people who have, because they're
It's like
stupid.
a cold plunge.
Yeah.
Still water is one of the most dangerous things you can come across. Still water can be filled with bacteria, and it could be deeper than you expect.
What I also noticed too is dude, are people partying here?
Oh, yeah.
They bring
Yeah.
people are throwing abandoned insane asylum parties.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I
Jesus.
have a friend, anytime, so he's like an avid explorer. Anytime I've ever gone exploring with him, he's always drinking. Always. So if you ever go to an abandoned place and you see PBR cans, you know it's his.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we think somebody did a ritual in here.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of faded now, but you
come
can see
on.
the pentagram and...
Guys, don't do that.
Oddly enough, I don't remember the writing being there, so that's new.
Oh, yeah. Wow, they have the star and
Yeah.
everything. It says human. I don't even want to finish the sentence. It might trigger something.
Yeah.
I feel like this entire video is just going to be me just saying, oh, damn, and looking uneasy, and he's just looking super comfortable.
Look, I didn't think that I believed in ghosts, but I'm realizing that it's pretty damn easy to feel overwhelmed exploring an abandoned asylum. Similar to how you guys watching may feel overwhelmed running a business, being a creator, or working for a large company. That's why, as someone who used to work in tech sales and know the difference between good and bad software, I'm excited to tell you about our sponsor, Odoo. Odoo is an all-in-one business software offering applications for CRM, sales, marketing, and websites. Speaking of websites, Odoo's free website builder can set up a professional website in minutes through a simple 4-step process that lets you pick your site's goals, colors, pages, and theme. And Odoo's drag-and-drop builder makes it simple to customize text, images, and even animate for that dynamic look, all with no coding skills required. Plus, Odoo's built-in AI helps you generate, repurpose, and translate your content effortlessly. So use my link in the description to check out Odoo to create a professional website in minutes for free. And now, back to the video.
Got another room filled with a little bit of everything. Oh, they're blank. But it would have been filled in, so it would, yeah, payroll and personal transaction form. Somebody torched it. Up more here. Oh, there's somebody here, okay.
Holy shit. I thought I was crazy because I just heard something.
Yeah, so this is where it was. So I was kind of standing right about here. And my friend's all of a sudden just oh, hold my camera. So I'm holding two cameras, mine and his, and he's just like, literally goes down on 2 knees, and he's like literally choking, right? And he grabs a charm from under his shirt, and he starts praying in Arabic. And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
This is the worst. And maybe it's just because he just told me that story and
Yeah,
we saw it, but...
Like I said, I think something bad happened in this particular area.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt it.
So back in the day, a lot of patients...
more documents.
A lot of patients would have actually worked in these buildings as well. I mean, it was free labor at the end of the day. So who's to say that somebody who maybe worked here took advantage of one of the patients and abused them in this particular area, and maybe that's why there's like something kind of attached to this specific area? I don't know.
And after exploring the asylum and seeing the remnants of the abuse, the torture, the experiments, and some genuinely paranormal shit that I can't even explain.
Oh my god, no, that fucking door just closed.
Oh, the door slammed?
I probably look like the biggest pussy in the world right now, but...
There was one thing that I couldn't stop thinking about the whole investigation. Because after all the atrocities that the patients endured, were they at least remembered in this ongoing reform for mental health care, or have they long been forgotten?
Well, we're here.
Yeah. It's kind of like one of the most eerie cemeteries, just because all of those are all just numbers.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And this sign you said was just added?
Yeah, so they eventually added this.
To commemorate the names?
Exactly, because originally the documents of their names were not public information. And then eventually, you know, people kind of got together and was like, no, these people need to be remembered. So, you know, they pulled up the names that they had, and yeah, as you can see, just from what they have here, it's like...
People have some offerings?
Yeah. Toys for the kids. Rocks.
Yeah, this is very sad.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I haven't been to many cemeteries, but you're 100% right. It's very eerie to see just
numbers.
Numbers.
Yeah. There's like just one random headstone over there, and then that's about it. The rest are all just numbers. Imagine being remembered as a number. Holocaust, right? Same thing. This place, like, people were literally murdered here, right? Essentially out of cold blood, just for fun, experimentation. Almost kind of like the Holocaust, and it happened here on American soil. Like, that's a crazy thing to think about.
Yeah.
Right?
And for like years, it wasn't even exposed to the public.
Right. Oh, it was an experiment gone wrong. They died. Oh, well. Throw their body in the potter's field, which is the cemetery. Some cemeteries, depending on how many bodies they actually had to bury, if there was too many, they would have actually put the bodies standing up, just kind of all side by side. So if you were to, you know, start digging, that's kind of what you would find.
Do you think insane asylums in America should come back?
No. The short answer is no. And the reason why I say this is that we've progressed a long way. And the reason why I say we shouldn't go back to hospitals is because it could be inhumane. There's no solution or cure because there's always going to be racism, prejudice, and misconceptions and myths.
I'm not like all for institutionalizing people. I do wish there were more options. And I do wish there were more options that were accessible than what we currently have now.
You know, though this was a failure for people with schizophrenia who we now have on our streets and in our prisons, this was a success for people with developmental disabilities. So we need to look at what worked for them and see if we can replicate it.
In 1963, JFK signed the Community Mental Health Act to address overcrowded and inhumane conditions in asylum, and aiming to replace them with smaller community-based facilities.
These years will be known as years to discover what we can do to make these boys and girls' life more hopeful and fruitful.
But since not enough of these were built, this left many to become homeless and eventually in prisons, and some asylums like Letchworth were allowed to continue until the truth was exposed. In 1972, Geraldo Rivera's documentary on Willowbrook State School, just miles away from Letchworth, showed naked patients in filthy, overcrowded, unsupervised rooms.
They were quite literally living in their own urine, feces,
Jesus.
no clothing.
And what they found after decades of this happening over and over again to countless different patients was that these asylums became a place of abandonment rather than rehabilitation, where families would just leave their unwanted children that they didn't want to deal with anymore in the hands of the state.
What appears to be the worst possible conditions I've ever seen in my life.
And what this led to was a decade's worth and countless accounts of abuse, experiments, and torture that not even the expose was able to show the full extent of. And after the expose, class action lawsuits and reform pressured institutions like Letchworth to raise their standards and their conditions.
The conditions again was every time they cut the budget more and more.
But after repeatedly failing to meet them and funding was finally cut off, Letchworth finally closed in 1996. So as one of the last horrific asylums to finally shut its doors, what options do patients truly have today? Because in many ways, it's pretty undeniable that our streets and prisons have become the new asylums. But again, is bringing back the asylums the answer? Sure, bringing back asylums the right way with the proper funding and without the abuse is ideal. But just like building more shelters and prisons isn't going to solve poverty and crime, would bringing back asylums truly fix the root of the issue of the mental health crisis in this country? And I'm not claiming to know the solution. Clearly, I'm not smart enough. But one thing is for certain. In an age where we have unlimited leverage, now more than ever, we need brave people to be able to seek truth and expose it. Because walking through the abandoned asylum, whether it was the ghosts or the eerie feeling that I got, all I could think the whole 3 hours I was there was how many more of these innocent kids could have been saved if the truth was exposed earlier. And even if these asylums have shut its doors, how much of this abuse is still going on in different situations. And the one biggest thing that I took away from this investigation is that until we can learn from our past, we're bound to make the same mistakes over and over again. History will repeat itself. So if you're smart and if you knew exactly what I was referring to the end there, subscribe and let me know in the comments and if I should investigate that topic next. But if you want to interact with me directly, then follow me on X and Instagram, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this video. And I'll share you my personal opinion. And one last plug, if you want to join the movement so history doesn't repeat itself, then click the link in the bio so you can learn how exactly we're building the future of journalism, and you can join me on that mission. But if you don't care about all of that, then I think you'll like this next video too.